Welcome to another enriching episode of Faith Focus, where we delve into Catholic mystical life. And sometimes we talk about the lives of the saints, and that's what we're doing today. I'm your host, Daniela Bizant. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to focus on St. Louis, the Crusader King. He's also the Patron Saint of Vocations. We're going to explore his fascinating history, his contribution to the Age of the Enlightenment, the significance of his church in Nova Scotia, and how his intercession can impact your life creatively, intellectually, and purposefully. So let's talk about his life a little bit. St. Louis was born in 1214, and he was the King of France from 1226 until his death in 1270. He's renowned for his devout Christian faith, his role in the 7th and 8th Crusades, his dedication to justice, and his profound commitment to the poor. Louis was canonized in 1297 by Pope Boniface, making him one of the few monarchs to achieve sainthood, and he really earned it. I'll tell you why. St. Louis was a reformer, and he implemented significant judicial reforms, including the establishment of the Quarantine Leroy, which is a 40-day period for resolving disputes before a feud could begin. He founded hospitals, orphanages, institutions for the poor. He really reflected his deep commitment to social justice through his monarchy. St. Louis is credited with founding the Sorbonne in Paris, which became one of the most prestigious theological colleges in Europe. His patronage of education laid the groundwork for the intellectual movements that would later flourish during the Age of Enlightenment. Known as a Crusader King, Louis led the 7th and 8th Crusades to the Holy Land. Although these military campaigns were not successful in reclaiming Jerusalem, they underscored his deep devotion to Christendom and his willingness to sacrifice for his faith. And although Louis lived centuries before the Enlightenment, his emphasis on justice, education, and ethical governance influenced the principles that would later define this era. His efforts to establish fair laws and support academic institutions contributed to the intellectual and moral foundations upon which the Enlightenment thinkers would build. Now, St. Louis Church in Annapolis Royal, Nova Scotia, Canada, was named after the saint to honor this legacy and to serve as a spiritual beacon for the local community. This church has been a center for Catholic worship and community life, reflecting St. Louis's dedication to faith and justice. Now, the original parish building nearby perished in a fire, and its historical significance was having celebrated the first Catholic baptism in Canada on St. John the Baptist Day, June 24 in 1610. And that was the baptism of Henry Momberdew, which was chief of the Mi'kmaq tribe and his entire family. It was the first fruits of the Catholic missions and the beginning of Christianity in Canada. The new building, Stations of the Cross, were hung in 1910 to celebrate that important legacy, and they still remain there today. Each station meticulously placed between their glorious stained windows. So if you ever come to Nova Scotia, please look me up. I will give you a tour. But inside the main building, when you're walking through the church, you will see in between each stained glass one of those Stations of the Cross. The church stands as a testament to the enduring influence of St. Louis, attracting pilgrims and parishioners who seek his intercession for various needs, particularly in vocational discernment. People often turn to St. Louis for intercession in matters related to justice, leadership, and vocational discernment. His life as a ruler who balanced governance with deep faith makes him an ideal patron for those seeking guidance in their careers and life purpose, and especially for politicians or people in global leadership. St. Louis' intercession is believed to provide wisdom in decision-making, courage in leadership, and a steadfast commitment to justice and service. Those who pray to him seek not only practical guidance, but also spiritual fortitude to align their vocations with God's will. So if you're struggling in this department, consider a pilgrimage or a novena to St. Louis. In Catholic theology, worship, which is latria, is due to God alone, while veneration, which is called dulia, is the honor given to the saints. Now, hyperdulia is a special veneration accorded to the Blessed Virgin Mary. When Catholics pray to saints like St. Louis, they do not worship them, but rather honor them and seek their intercession before God. They aren't gods to be worshipped. My Nona, grandmother, used to refer to them as lawyers. I remember saying to her one day, why do I have to go through a saint? I pray to God every day. Why don't I just keep praying to him? And she said, when you go to the judge, you bring a lawyer, no? So that's how she made her peace with the idea of asking for intercessions of saints. And we've been doing this in our entire lives. And I've seen so many amazing things happen, not just through my own novenas, but other people's prayers and novenas asking for the intercession of saints. I've seen so many miracles that way throughout my life that it's impossible for me not to believe it. I've lived it, so I know it to be true. The idea is that a saint can see a wider perspective from their vantage point and be willing to put in the spiritual elbow grease to help you move through a situation that requires extra energy. Now, I don't know if that's the theological perspective, but that's certainly how my grandmother explained it. That they see things and understand things that we can't. So they are able to then, almost present this to God in a way that we can't, that our prayers can't. And they can sometimes intercede. Say, you know what, this person needs extra help. I'm willing to help them, God, may I? Because a saint cannot do anything without God's permission. So here's how to get the help of Saint Louis. If you are struggling with your own vocation or your own purpose, or maybe you're in leadership and you're being called to be brave and you're not feeling very brave right now, the Crusader King is who you want to go to for that. So first, a simple heartfelt prayer asking Saint Louis to intercede on your behalf. Now, you could just use a prayer that comes straight from your heart. It doesn't have to be a formal prayer. But if you wanted to use established prayers that are dedicated to St. Louis, you can find those in Catholic prayer books and anywhere you want to go online. There's tons of them. But here's an example. Might as well pray it together while we're here. St. Louis, King of France and faithful servant to God, you sought justice and worked tirelessly to uphold the values of faith and service. We seek your intercession to guide us all in our vocational journeys. Help us to discern our path and to serve others with integrity and devotion. Amen. Now, a novena is a 9-day prayer practice that seeks specific intercessions. Many Catholics pray novenas to St. Louis to help with their discernment, their leadership, and their justice. So what you want to do there is that prayer that we just said or something similar. You'll say that every single day for 9 days. Or if you're really in a place of panic, you can do it every hour for 9 hours straight. That one's a little bit harder to do, but you can. And some people will do the first day of their novena every hour for 9 hours straight, and then do 9 consecutive days of saying the prayer at least once a day. So some people do that. And what's the folklore around novenas is that you make a promise to St. Louis first. So you would say, St. Louis, if you could give me some direction or whatever it is that you're asking, bravery here or some concept that you need me to help me understand, I promise if you can give me this indulgence, then I will make a pilgrimage to your church, or I'll donate to your church or to your charity, or I'll make a donation here, I'll do whatever. But you have to make some kind of tangible promise. And also you should always promise that you'll tell people you received a miracle. That's part of evangelization. So that's one way to supercharge a novena. Now, if you're looking to take a pilgrimage to St. Louis Church in Reims, France, is the church where he actually was, he received his coronation. I've been privileged enough to attend that place, and it was a very beautiful experience. A gorgeous cathedral. But you can also come to Nova Scotia. So come to Annapolis Royal, Nova Scotia. It can be a very spiritually enriching experience. Pilgrims may find feeling a deeper connection to the saint and receiving clarity and inspiration for their vocational paths. Devotion to St. Louis can inspire creativity by encouraging you to seek beauty and truth in your work, reflecting the saint's dedication to education and the arts. Emulating St. Louis' commitment to learning can lead to intellectual growth. His support for the Sorbonne underscores the importance of theological and philosophical education. And St. Louis' life exemplifies living with purpose. By seeking his intercession, you gain strength and guidance to fulfill your vocation with integrity, aligning your career and personal life with God's will. So I'll give you an example. I was struggling with this, or I wanted to pivot a little bit in business and wasn't sure, especially because my faith is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I'm getting less and less interested in the secular world. And I asked for some guidance in terms of what to do with my vocation. And I'm the bell ringer at St. Louis Church, so you can better believe I'm, devoted to him, especially having visited where he had his coronation in France. So that was a very mystical moment for me. And a lot of things happened after that. And when I began to pray to St. Louis, asking for vocational discernment, the next week, in our church bulletin was a link to the Catholic Women's Leadership Foundation. They were offering scholarships for a vocational program through the university for people in leadership wanting to, deepen their Catholic participation through their vocation. And only 13 women in all of Canada would be approved to join this program. And I was one of the 13. I applied thinking I would never get it. And I prayed and I got it. I'm one of the 13 people in Canada. I'm actually in the program right now. So again, that was, I believe, the intercession of St. Louis. So these are the kind of things that get opened up to you when you pray to him. St. Louis, the Crusader King and Patron Saint of Vocations, offers a powerful example of faith, leadership, and justice. By understanding his life, seeking his intercession, and emulating his virtues, you can find inspiration and guidance in your vocational journey. Whether through prayer, novenas, pilgrimage, a devotion to St. Louis can deeply enrich your life, helping you live creatively, intellectually, and purposefully in service to God and others. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the life and intercession of St. Louis the Crusader King. We hope this episode has provided you with valuable insights and inspiration. Please leave your comments. If you're coming to Annapolis Royal, Nova Scotia, leave a comment. I will meet you at church. Church is every Sunday at 9 o'clock. Every first Tuesday of the month, we hold an adoration where you can get confession, pray the rosary with a small group of us that, are really active in the church that go there. For adoration, and then of course the adoration itself. That's the best part, and we'd be happy to welcome you to that. Also, the first Sunday of every month we have fellowship after church, so you can come down for coffee and some snacks and meet some genuine Catholic Nova Scotians, and we'll give you everything you need to know to enjoy your time in Annapolis Royal, I promise you. So just leave your comments and I will respond. And it really helps us when you like, share, and leave a comment. So please do. And if you have any questions,